Inspiration. When you have it, it feels amazing, and when you don't, well, yeah, that's the topic of today's video. Drex here from Drex Factor Poi, sharing with you the love of poi spinning and flow arts to benefit your body and brain. And today, we were talking about inspiration, how to find it, and what happens when it runs away from you. Before we dive in, I just want to give a quick shout out to the friends of the channel. Big thanks to Dark Monk, Flow Fests, Flow Toys, Juggling Calling, Pyroterra Light Toys, Spinballs, and Ultra Poi for helping to make the videos on this channel possible. You can learn more about all of these amazing businesses and what they're doing to support flow artists like yourself by checking out the links that I have down in the description of this video. And special thanks to non-business friends of the channel, Johnny Howard, Lane Machinsky, and Pekka Pekkonen. Thank you so very much for your support for my work and my mission. All right, so this is going to be one of my legendary walk and talks. Let's go for a walk around the neighborhood, yeah? I had hoped to get this done before they started playing intramural soccer in the park across the street, and it looks like I might just barely make it. Nope, never mind. They're already playing. Sorry for the background noise then. So unfortunately, we have a new variant of Omicron out there that is now the most common coronavirus infection here in the United States. This will probably be my last walk and talk without a mask for at least a couple months. So real talk, friends. I have been really wrestling with some severe depression this past week. Thankfully, no thoughts of self-harm or anything like that, but it's definitely been a week where I've had multiple days where it takes me just half the day to get off the couch, let alone get anything done. I really hate it when those weeks pop up, not the least of which because it's really difficult to keep up a regular content calendar that way. But, you know, as I knew I was going to have to put together a Monday video, I was racking my brains for what topic I could cover. And interestingly enough, I realized that this week had put some rather meta thoughts in my head about inspiration. I kept asking myself, what content am I inspired to make right now? What thoughts do I have that are dying to get out of my head? And the answer was really nothing, you know? I didn't really have anything that I felt super passionate about telling the world about. But ironically enough, in not having anything that I was super passionate about telling the world about, I also had to ask myself why that was the case. And, well, there were actually some interesting lessons to be learned from that. So in talking about inspiration, I think it's necessary to separate out two adjoining ideas that have some overlaps and have some similarities with inspiration, but are not quite the same thing. And those two ideas are motivation and, of course, just ideas in the first place. So I talked before about motivation. I honestly think that you can be inspired without necessarily having motivation and vice versa. In my opinion, motivation is the application of inspiration rather than the two necessarily being synonymous with each other. And likewise, I think that inspiration is frequently the seed that leads to motivation. But, again, one can easily have one without the other. Although I will say, I think it is sometimes hard to have motivation without inspiration. Not impossible, but I've definitely had my moments where one happens without the other. And, of course, you can have ideas and not necessarily be inspired by any one of them. Like, I literally have a Trello board with over 100 ideas for videos on it. And there are some times when I just am not inspired by any one of them. And then there are some times when some dots connect. And lo and behold, one of those ideas becomes inspirational to me. And I pull out all the stops to make it happen as soon as possible. And I think that's especially applicable to the situation I've found myself in for the past week. Because, again, I've got no shortage of ideas. My Patreon supporters voted on several different topics that I'm super jazzed about presenting to you all, but at the same time, like, it takes a lot of energy and effort to take those ideas from the idea stage to the script stage to the shooting stage, and unfortunately, my mental health status has not been conducive to making that happen in the past week. But that's not to say that I haven't had inspiration at all in the past week, and I think it's very curious to see where those moments pop up. You know, there have been several times when I've gone out to practice in the past week and, you know, after 30, 40 minutes of flowing with the poi and exploring ideas, there's something that grabs me and absolutely is just like, oh my God, I just want to keep on doing this, you know? Definitely moments that connect and moments that make me think, oh, cool, I'm so glad I found this. And it's here that I'm going to link together two ideas that didn't dawn on me until this morning are actually linked. And that is the idea of inspiration and self-care. Now, I know that self-care has become kind of a pop psychology buzzword in our world, but bear with me here for a second. I truly think that what self-care is really about is checking in with yourself and seeing the moments when you are experiencing feelings that you need to process, or you're feeling exhausted and you need to do something to recharge your batteries. Moments when it's clear that your body or your brain has a need that isn't necessarily being met. And this doesn't necessarily mean that the outcome of that is going to be that you go give yourself a bubble bath or go do retail therapy or what have you. For me, self-care very frequently involves things like cleaning my apartment or washing all the dishes. It's doing things that make my environment more stable, and engaging in rituals that make me as an individual kind of feel more grounded. And sometimes that doesn't mean that I do something fun in order to do that. It means that I do something that is good for me, and those are not the same thing. And this is now like 7 solid days of it being windy here in DC, and I really, really hope that the audio is usable. I hate the wind. So one of the reasons that it's curious to me that I have been having a problem being inspired in the past week, not only because I've been wrestling with mental health problems, but also I've done a very, very poor job of engaging in self-care this past week. There have been many, many times when I've noticed myself making choices that are dedicated to, the good times or the comfort or, even the joy of the people around me, while simultaneously I have that voice going off in the back of my head saying, hey, but what about the thing that's going to make you feel happier? What about the thing that's going to make you feel more fulfilled rather than the people around you, And it's funny because every single moment I can think of in the past week that I've been inspired, it was either directly or indirectly as a result of engaging in that self-care. Like somehow having my batteries charged up, having my environment stable, having, the things that I need in my world to make me feel as though I am grounded and together also tend to be things that lead me to get inspired about things too. And I don't know, I question whether that is a thing that is more universal than just me, and whether that whole thing of putting your own needs aside in order to, do what is necessary to make the people around you happy is a thing that other people wrestle with as well. But it is very, very curious to me that, literally every moment I can think of in the past week when I have been super inspired was a moment when I was engaging in self-care, when I was doing what I needed to do to refill my batteries. And I think perhaps it's easier for that inspiration to find us when we are in a place where we're ready to receive it, where we're ready to act on it. I think those two things might be linked. So I think what I'm saying is, I'm going to try and make more of an effort in the coming week to engage in that self-care, to make sure that I'm getting out and flowing and exploring whatever I'm feeling on a given day, to make sure I'm engaging in those regular rituals that make me feel grounded. And also, too, when I recognize that I have a need that might not align with the interests of those around me, that I be comfortable saying no, and that I do what I need to put myself in a place where I'm feeling together and grounded and like I have the things I need, within reason. There is definitely a thing to be said for what they call tabling the agenda when somebody's need is greater. But for the most part, I can think of maybe one incident like that in the past week. I don't think it necessarily has to be like that for me. So this is also my invitation to you all out there to try this out for yourself, to engage in a little bit more self-care, to do what you need to in order to feel grounded and recharged, and see if inspiration comes with it. I would love to see if this is a thing with broader applications than just me trying to get through my own week. Also, Drex from the future here, and I just wanted to add in one little last bit, and that is that in addition to self-care, I think another important piece of the puzzle when it comes to inspiration is curiosity and learning. Goodness only knows it is easier for me to get inspired when I see awesome, intriguing ideas from other people that then can inspire awesome and intriguing ideas from me too. Just a thought. In the meantime, if you got anything out of this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, both to help other people find it and to help my channel grow. This video would not have been possible without the kind support of all these nice people right here. These are my Flow patrons over on Patreon, and they, along with the people listed down in the description, helps to make this video and all the videos on my channel possible. If you are interested in supporting me in my mission, which I would appreciate, you can do so by heading on over to patreon.com/DrexFactorPoi and signing up. You can do that either at the link down in the description or the card that just popped up if you are watching on YouTube. There you can get access to a whole host of awesome rewards, and you'd be helping me out in bringing poi spinning and flow arts to the wider world and helping people connect with their brains and their bodies as creative individuals. So go check that out, please and thank you. And I promise, next week's video is going to be less spontaneous than this one. I do have ideas, I just need to sit down and finish the scripts for them. I just didn't have a finished script ready for today. So I appreciate y'all bearing with me as I stare at my navel and do so on camera. I appreciate y'all. I'll go ahead and leave links to other blogs that I've done down in the description as well as up on screen if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure to get outside and flow today. I'm going to do my best to do the same. And I will see you with a new video on Wednesday. Peace.